Very few rappers were as mysterious and complex as Capitol Steez. In Steez's 19 short years of life, he managed to spark a hip-hop movement in New York City that allowed for the rise of many rappers. Rappers like Joey Badass and Pro Era, Flatbush Zombies, and the Underachievers all spawned from the Pro Era and Beast Coast movement that Capitol Steez started while he was still in high school. While Joey Badass, the Flatbush Zombies, and the Underachievers all went on to have moderate to great success in the music industry, Capitol Steez's career ended abruptly after he ended it all on December 23, 2012. Steez, in a dark turn of events, leaped off the top of the Capitol Records building in New York City. His body was discovered while still gripping on the Bible he had brought with him. Capitol Records was the same record label he had signed a record deal with. He was only 19 years old when he died, while his buzzing hip-hop career was just starting out. Now, what seems to have led Capitol Steez to ending it in such a disturbing manner is a rather sinister tale. Everything seemed to change for Steez the moment he began his spiritual journey, as he ended up becoming enamored with occult teachings and concepts that began to shape his way of thinking. Through his spiritual journey, he began to develop an obsession with the number 47, placing 47 in his music, videos, clothing, and even his logos. While to most people in the world, the number 47 is just a number, to Steez, it was the key to life. The deeper he got into these occult beliefs, the more off the deep end he went, until his very breaking point where he seemed to have lost his mind. This is when he started to refer to himself as a god and spoke about a coming prophecy. He started telling people that he was the Messiah and that the world would come to an end in the year 2047 and that he was going to be resurrected as the savior of the planet. Hey guys, I hope all is well. Welcome back to The Truth Is, where I drop new videos exposing the truth weekly. In today's episode, we will be diving deep into the life and death of Capitol Steez and his unhealthy obsession with the number 47. Let's get right into it. Capitol Steez was born in New York City on July 7, 1993 to two Jamaican parents. Early in Steez's life, he dealt with loss as his father died when he was only 3 years old. According to Steez, his death was associated with substance abuse. Death wasn't the only thing Steez was introduced to early on in his life, as he also learned that he wanted to be a rapper while he was still in grade school. In the 4th grade, he created a group with his friend at the time, Jack the Rhymer. They made songs together and even dropped a whole mixtape. The two eventually split and began making solo music. Steez kept on practicing his musical craft throughout his young life, which led to the start of his music success while he was still in high school. He attended Edward R. Morrow High School, which was located in the Midwood area in Brooklyn. This school wasn't just any high school either. It was a school popular for its dedication to the arts. The school had actually produced many famous artists, actors, and even politicians, like Basquiat, Little Mama, and Adam from the Beastie Boys. Steez was regarded as being a friendly kid who made friends easily. He was also known for his sharp rap skills that made him well known in the entire school. Eventually, Steez, alongside another friend, came up with the group Pro Era in 2011. One kid who attended the school who was a fan of Steez was no other than the rapper Joey Badass. Joey was 2 years younger than Steez, but knew of him because of his rapping. Eventually, Joey decided to upload a freestyle of himself online, which caught the attention of Steez, who then decided to reach out to Joey in school, and they started making music together. Joey then joined Pro Era, and not long after, their music career started to see success. Steez and Badass began dropping videos of themselves freestyling and of songs they had created, which were received well by fans. This is when Joey caught the attention of a record executive, Johnny Snipes, who started managing him in early February 2012. By February 23, 2012, Steez and Joey released a music video that changed everything. The music video was for a song called Survival Tactics that was released on Joey's debut solo album, 1999. The music video consisted of Joey and Steez wearing masks while aiming water guns at the camera. The song had an anti-establishment message that could be seen all over the music video. This video was an instant success, and soon Pro Era was buzzing in the streets and all over the internet, with their video being spread like a virus by hip-hop blogs. Not long after this music video, Johnny Snipes ended up getting a record deal for Pro Era with Cinematic Records, which was under the major label Sony Records. That was the moment that Steez and Joey were waiting for. They had technically made it as artists, but unfortunately for Steez, this success wouldn't stop him from what he would go on to do just a few months later. As just months after signing his record deal, he ended it all right as his career was taking off. But before we get into Steez's untimely death, we must talk about what led him on that path to begin with: his journey into the world of the occult and his obsession with the number 47. While Capitol Steez was still in high school, he started changing his religious views. While he grew up in a Christian home with his mother taking him to church every Sunday, during his high school years, he started questioning the Christian religion. He began looking into other spiritual belief systems that caught his attention after watching videos made by a channel called Spirit Science. This led to Steez completely abandoning Christianity and involving himself in the New Age beliefs and occult beliefs. He started spending a lot of time looking deep into Egyptian mysticism, numerology, and the Indian chakra system alongside other occult spiritual concepts like alchemy, becoming obsessed with the idea of hidden spiritual knowledge that, if unlocked, would lead to higher spiritual enlightenment. His journey into these occult religious beliefs eventually led him to the number 47, a number that Steez began to become more and more enamored with. Steez claimed that the number 47 was spiritually important because it represented the perfect balance between the heart and the mind, symbolized by the 4th and 7th chakras. He believed that achieving balance between the 4th chakra, the heart, and the 7th chakra, the crown or mind, was crucial for living a fulfilling life. He viewed the number 47 as the key to understanding and expressing this fundamental balance in the world. But considering Steez was deep into occult practices like alchemy, indicates that the number 47 had a hidden meaning to him that he didn't share publicly. From the spiritual concepts he was interested in and talking about, Steez seemed to be practicing what is called inner alchemy. Inner alchemy is a spiritual belief system that claims to teach the practitioner how to ascend and become a god through rituals. They call this spiritual practice the Great Work. The number 47 was associated with the process of the transmutation of the human soul. The number 47 in alchemy has several meanings, specifically as separate numbers. It represented the mastering of the spirit in the physical world, as the number 4 represented the 4 alchemic elements, water, fire, air, and earth, which are the elements of the world, with the 7 representing the 7 planetary gods, the moon, Mercury, Venus, Sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. 7 also represents the completion of the Great Work, or the magnum opus, which had 7 steps. In alchemy, there are 7 steps to achieving the Great Work. The 4 steps of transmutation, which are blackening, whitening, yellowing, and then reddening. These steps then need to be added with the human trinity, which represent man and women combining and making a third through what we know as the process of reproducing. But in alchemy, this process is achieved spiritually, not physically, with the alchemists ritually combining their inner masculine side with their inner feminine side and giving birth to what they consider their god selves. The number 47 is attributed to this union of the 4 elements and the 7 steps of the Great Work. The number 47 also has an important significance in Masonry. The Freemasons also attribute the number 47 with the Great Work and the completion of spiritual enlightenment. They call it the 47th problem, which they claim represents the basis for geometry, architecture, and measurement. They claim the 47 problem symbolizes the foundational understanding required to construct and comprehend the world around us. They believe that completing one's understanding of this fundamental principle is a step towards true enlightenment. The process of mastering complex geometry through the 47 problem was believed by the ancients to train the mind for higher levels of consciousness, marking a significant point of completion in the individual's intellectual and spiritual development. 47 represents completion and achieving the Great Work in Masonry. These were the spiritual beliefs Steed had immersed himself in, and all of this began to consume him. The number 47 eventually took over Steed's life, as he would spend all day writing 47 in his books during school. He would end up making a 47 logo that seemed to resemble a swastika, eventually turning the logo into stickers, which he then placed all over New York City. This ended up getting him in some heat, as the news began reporting on it, and he began thinking that the police were looking for him because of this.
Controversial symbol shows up in Midwood and has offended many residents. They feel it resembles a swastika, but the hip-hop group designed the logo says that it is not meant to be offensive. Ali Wolf spoke to the group and has more from Avenue K and East 16th.
Local hip-hop group Pro Era 47 insists they do not spray this graffiti around the neighborhood, but they do say they designed the image, and that is the number 47. They say it's meant to represent peace and balance. The young men grew up here in Midwood, a neighborhood with a large Jewish population. They say they are sorry if the image offends residents and insist it's not a neo-Nazi symbol, but instead a spiritual one. Pro Era 47 claims they designed their logo in this way because it looks good.
He also marked his clothes with the number 47, and he even placed the number 47 on his debut album, American Corruption, which he released on April 7, which is 47. Around this time, he started to believe that he was a god, calling himself an enlightened indigo child. An indigo child, for those who don't know, refers to a term created for people who believe to be born with supernatural spiritual ability. It is said that indigo children are usually born gifted with high intellect and spiritual awareness. This is around the same time Steez began to wear Baphomet t-shirts and even changed his social media profile to a picture of Baphomet. Now, this is when people started to associate Steez with Satanism because of using the Baphomet. But what many people don't know is that the Baphomet isn't actually a representation of the devil. The Baphomet symbol comes directly from alchemy. Contrary to what most think, the Baphomet actually represents someone who has achieved the great work and becomes an enlightened god. Like I said earlier, the great work in alchemy requires a person to merge their inner feminine and masculine sides in order to give birth to inner enlightenment, which they call the great work. The Baphomet represents a person who has successfully gone through that ritual. The Baphomet is supposed to represent a merger of man and woman and the spiritual and animalistic side of a person. That's why Baphomet is always shown as a deity that is part man, part woman, part human, and part beast. It represents achieving the great work in alchemy, demonstrating the man becoming God. 47 also in a way represents Baphomet, and it's why the Masons use Baphomet imagery that traces back to the Knights Templar, who were the original Freemasons. Steez was deep into the occult practices at this point, and this is when things started to take a dark turn. Steez's obsession with the occult started leading him to have some twisted thoughts. After he began thinking he was God and using the Baphomet imagery, he began telling people around him that he was the chosen one, the Messiah, who was going to come back and save humanity during the apocalypse. He believed that the apocalypse was going to start in the year 2047 and that he was going to resurrect in that year and help humanity ascend. On July 11th, just a few months before his death, Steez was arguing with people through Twitter over the fact that he had changed his profile picture to Baphomet. One person tried telling Steez that he was demonic for using the Baphomet, but Steez instead defended himself by telling them that he was an indigo child and was a god. In these tweets is where we get the confirmation that he was practicing alchemy, and his use of the 47 was in reference to his belief that he managed to achieve the great work. We have to go over these tweets as it gives us more insight into what Steez was thinking and involved himself in before his death. He tweeted, "The Baphomet was actually a god of alchemy, spiritual enlightenment, and kundalini energy. The spirit that is Jah is the same spirit that created the light. That is why Lucifer is referred to as a serpent or a light bearer. Whichever way you put it, the Baphomet comes in peace. The only bad part about this god is his wrath and his sexual desire. But those both are human and animalistic characteristics. Even the star on his forehead is a pagan symbol for what is the human body right on his third eye, which can be interpreted as another symbol for brotherhood or even synchronization. Alchemy is the channeling of that same energy into your body. 747 shift." He then tweeted, "And what if I am the Baphomet? Then that's a shift, ain't it?" With someone responding, "You aren't. You are who you were born as, and you were born pure of Jah, and so you're not Baphomet." Steez then replied, "I was born blessed with the spirit of Jah, but unfortunately I was put into this body for divine purpose, and that purpose being the great work." Steez then continued his Twitter rant by saying Jah is the same creator as Allah. There is one spirit that is an immortal creator, but the Baphomet is just as mortal as any physical creature. You must intertwine the mind, the body, and soul. #GodMind. In 2012, they predicted that an alchemist would rise with the key to world peace. My point exactly, we're at the top because we are gods, free to do what we want, free to do what replenishes the spirit. All of it is a part of the divine path towards the great work. That's how karma balances out the flaws of us humans. Our emotions are pure, our logic is corrupt. #47. That's why I'm from the 12th dimension. Someone then asked him if the number 47 was the number of the universe, and he then replied, "Nah, more like the mark of the beast," with the person then responding, "That number is important because," with Steez responding, "Doomsday 2047, then tweeting, "What is the point of shedding light when all I did was set my profile picture as Baphomet? What is wrong with that?" As you can see in this conversation, Steez confirms a lot of important information when it comes to understanding what he would go on to do. What was most important that he said in these tweets was why he used the number 47 in the Baphomet. Also, why he believed Doomsday was on 2047 and how he was deeply involved in alchemy. Like I said earlier, The number 47 is rooted in alchemy and it represents the Baphomet. In the occult, like we went over earlier, Masons believe the number 47 equals spiritual enlightenment and completion. Steez was using the number 47 for that reason. He believed that he had completed the great work and had achieved enlightenment. It's why he called himself a god and an indigo child and also wore the Baphomet on his shirt. He believed that he was the Baphomet, a man who went through the process of alchemy and became a god. That's why he used the number 47 so much. The reason he thought Doomsday was going to take place on 2047 was because 47 represents the great work. So he believed that in the year 2047, all of humanity would transcend and go through the great work as a collective. He believed that he was chosen and going to be resurrected and guide humanity in transcending. This is why he constantly rapped about 47, and he believed that he was waking people up by doing it. Now, unfortunately, these ideas that perverted his mind began to take a toll on him, as he started to think that in order to be reborn, he would have to die or sacrifice himself. He thought that once he died, he would be resurrected in the year 2047. Just months after these tweets, he seemed to have started planning his departure, and what happened next was truly disturbing. Around this time, Capitol Steez and Pro Era were seeing the most success from their music yet. They had embarked on a 30-day tour, opening up for Juicy J in July 2012. While Pro Era was getting bigger and bigger, Joey Badass seemed to be getting most of the attention. This was mainly because the executive that signed Joey wasn't really interested in Capitol Steez or Pro Era. He initially only wanted to sign Joey, but ended up agreeing to sign the whole crew in the deal. But the executive focused heavily on only promoting Joey and making him look like the face of the group, even though Capitol Steez was the founder and leader of the group. It was stated that Steez began becoming jealous of Joey, which escalated when the record labels announced the group was gonna go on their own tour, and it was gonna be named Joey Badass and Pro Era. Steez was seeing Joey getting invited to interviews and receiving free clothes and gifts, while he, who was the founder of the group, began to feel left out and ignored. People claim that Steez's jealousy of Joey Badass grew, as he felt that he stole his spot. Some people believe this jealousy may have led to what happened next. According to some sources online, the day before he died, Steez told Pro Era members that he would be ending it all by leaping off the Capitol Records building. The very next day, he did exactly what he said he was gonna do. According to reports, sometime during the late hours of December 23rd, Capitol Steez made his way to the top of the Cinematic Music Group building in New York City. While up there, he sent a text to his loved ones telling them that he loved them. Then at exactly 11:59 p.m., he tweeted the end from his Twitter. Immediately after the tweet, he made the leap from the top of the building. He was found on the floor clutching a Bible. His family, friends, and fans were all shocked, as they weren't expecting this. What's sad is that Steez seemed to have planned this all long ago, as the reason he chose to end it on December 23rd, 2012 was because when you add up the numbers of the date, it all equaled the number 47. To this day, it remains a mystery to why he would do such a disturbing thing. He was only 19 years old and had his whole life ahead of him, plus a successful music career that had just started. It's just hard to believe he would have done it over jealousy and threw everything away. He had his own fans and his own record deal, so I don't believe jealousy was the sole reason for this outcome. I believe what led Steez to this outcome was what he believed after involving himself in the occult. I believe all of this is connected to his belief in 47. He purposely chose December 23rd, 2012 because it's connected to his obsession with the number 47. He also believed that he was supposed to resurrect in 2047 to lead humanity out of doomsday. It's clear he truly believed himself to be the Messiah and the chosen one. He went down the occult spiritual rabbit hole to the point where he lost himself in the process, losing all grasp of reality and himself. His path into the occult led him spiral into a dark place, and it's clear it cost him everything. In my opinion, what happened to Capitol Steez can be looked at as an example to why the occult is so dangerous. Steez grew up in a Christian home, and according to everyone that knew him, before he got into all that occult stuff, he was a normal good guy. He liked to rap and hang out with his friends. Then he started searching for the truth in the lies of Satan, and it led him down a destructive path. This is why I always suggest you stay far away from the occult, as you might never know where it might take you. I suggest you put your trust in Jesus Christ, as he never leads you to confusion or destruction, but love and eternal life. Before you guys go, I just wanted to let my Patreon members know that I just released a new Patreon exclusive on Charlie Kirk. If you're one of my members, make sure you check it out ASAP. If you're not a member, what are you waiting for? Join the truth movement and help me spread the truth. For $3 a month, not only will you be further supporting the channel, but you would also get access to over 50 exclusive Patreon videos that are not available here on YouTube. If you would like to join, you can find the link in the description or in the comment section. Wow, that's it for this video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.